Hi everyone, today we're going to discuss a genetic condition called trisomy X, also known as triple X syndrome. Trisomy X is a chromosome disorder in which a female has an extra copy of X chromosome, resulting in a karyotype of 47XXX instead of the usual 46XX. Surprisingly, it's pretty common, occurring in about 1 in every 1,000 female births. However, it is very rarely diagnosed. It's estimated that fewer than 10% of individuals with the condition are even aware they have it. This is because the effects of trisomy X are incredibly variable, ranging from no symptoms to more pronounced symptoms. When it comes to the physical and physiological impacts, the signs of trisomy X tends to be subtle. One of the most consistent features is tall stature, while girls with trisomy X are typically of average height before age 4, they often experience a rapid growth spurt between the ages of 4 and 8. With the added height primarily in their limbs and relatively shorter torso, they are often taller than most of their peers. Other minor physical traits can include subtle craniofacial differences like hypertelorism, which means widely spaced eyes, and clinodactyl, which is a slight inward curve of the little fingers. These features are usually so minor that they don't impact daily life. Puberty generally starts at the expected age and progresses normally for women with trisomy X. However, there can be impacts on reproductive health later in their lives. On average, menopause may begin about 5 years earlier, and there is an increased risk of premature ovarian failure. Despite this, fertility is often reported as being unaffected or only slightly lower than average, and most women with trisomy X can have children without needing interventions like IVF. General cognitive functioning of women with trisomy X is often slightly reduced, with an average IQ in the range of 85 to 90 compared to the general population average of 100. While intellectual disability is rare, it does occur more frequently, affecting about 5 to 10% of individuals. However, the effect varies substantially, and many women with trisomy X are highly intelligent. Developmental milestones in infancy may be slightly delayed. Speech delay is common among women with trisomy X. The studies suggest that between 40% and 90% of girls with trisomy X may need speech therapy at some point. Learning disabilities are also pretty frequent, affecting more than 75% of individuals, often related to reading and expressive language skills. Furthermore, there is an increased prevalence of certain neurodevelopmental conditions. Executive dysfunction, which involves difficulty regulating actions and emotions, is more common. The risk of autism spectrum disorder and ADHD are also significantly increased. Around 15% of girls with trisomy X show symptoms of autism, and up to 50% are affected by ADHD. Psychologically, girls and women with trisomy X may face challenges with social regulation. Common observation is that there's sometimes a gap between a girl's physical appearance and her emotional or cognitive maturity. Girls with trisomy X are often taller than others in their age, which can make people expect them to act older than they really are. This can affect self-esteem and confidence, especially if language or motor skills are significantly delayed. Some mental health issues are also more frequent. Milder forms of depression and bipolar disorder are more common. The study shows that about 1 in 5 women with trisomy X report clinically significant levels of anxiety. There is also a noted link to psychotic disorders. The prevalence of trisomy X in women with schizophrenia is estimated to be around 1 in 400, much higher than 1 in 1,000 rate in the general female population. The most common karyotype in trisomy X is 47XXX, where all cells have an additional copy of the X chromosome. Over 30% of cases involve However, over 30% of cases involve mosaicism, where an individual has 47XXX and other cell lines. The most common mosaic form is 46XX and 47XXX, and individuals with this karyotype generally have a milder presentation compared to those with full trisomy X. Another form is 45X and 47XXX. This is technically considered a form of Turner syndrome because of the 45X cell line, but the presence of the 47XXX line often leads to a milder version of Turner syndrome. And unlike non-mosaic Turner syndrome, these individuals are typically fertile. Finally, mosaicism with 47XXX and 48XXXX cell line involving trisomy X generally appears more severe than typical trisomy X, with more visible physical features and intellectual disability. So what causes this extra chromosome? Trisomy X is caused by a random error in cell division called non-disjunction. This is when chromosomes fail to separate properly during meiosis, the process that creates egg and sperm cells. This results in a gamete with an extra chromosome. In about 90% of cases, this error occurs in the mother's egg cell. It's a random event and is not inherited from the parents. But there is a small but significant link to advanced maternal age. When non-disjunction happens after conception, it results in the mosaic forms we just discussed. The symptoms of trisomy X are thought to be caused by the incomplete X chromosome inactivation and corresponding changes to DNA methylation and gene expression across the entire genome. In a typical female, one of the two X chromosomes is largely deactivated to prevent double dose X-linked genes, but third X chromosomes somehow escape inactivation, leading to the overexpression of certain genes. Trisomy X is diagnosed through karyotype test, which analyzes a person's chromosomes from a sample of blood or other cells. Most diagnoses happen in one of two ways, either prenatally through tests like amniocentesis, which is performed for advanced maternal age, or postnatally if a child shows a signs like tall stature or developmental delays. The prognosis for trisomy X is pretty good. Most individuals achieve adult independence and pursue education and employment, though it might take longer. Childhood and school can be challenging for women with trisomy X, but many report better adaptation and success after entering the workforce. While socioeconomic outcomes are on average somewhat reduced compared to the general population, most women with trisomy X live healthy and normal lives. The first case of trisomy X was diagnosed in 1959. Early research was unfortunately biased. It painted an inaccurate and overly severe picture of the condition. Today, awareness is growing. For example, in the United States, May is recognized as National X and Y Chromosome Variation Awareness Month. Studies also found that when parents receive counseling from a genetic expert who specializes in these conditions, they are much less likely to terminate a pregnancy. It really shows how powerful accurate information and support can be. That's all for today on Trisomy X. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and please leave a comment if you have any question. Thank you.